Hey everyone, welcome to the SSFFL podcast. I'm Chuck.
Joe. Oh!
And he's Joe. We are live at you right now, and we're gonna do our mock draft for the NFL draft, which is this coming Thursday. It's Tuesday the 27th. The draft is in 2 days from now, so we're just gonna give you a little intel on what we think might happen or might shake up in the first round. We're not going to go past the first round, but we're going to do the best we can and try to give you our analysis on who we think is going to go where or what team is looking for what. And we have a special guest today. His name's Jeremy. He was on the show earlier, probably like the third show I think we had, or I had myself. And he's joining us again right now today, and he's going to go through the mock with us too. And we're also going to give you our top 10 rookies coming into the year. This is pre-draft, so this might change this list for our rookies, but either way, it's our top 10 list for who we think is going to have the most fantasy impact for this coming season. So without further ado, we'll get Jeremy in here and we will start it up. All right. Looks like he is coming in right now, and let's see. Jeremy, gotcha?
Yep.
All right, buddy. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. This is also my other co-host, Joe, with us right now. But thanks for joining us. I really appreciate your time. How's the sunny state of Florida going for you?
Hot and humid as usual.
It's
Good old
hot.
Florida.
Right. It's pretty hot over here today, too. It got up to like 90, so experienced some of that heat today. But, Chicago is just too unpredictable with the weather over here. It's cold, it's hot. It's never really in the middle, and I'm getting kind of sick of it, living here for so long. I wish you could just have some kind of stable weather. At least it's in Florida, it's like, winter time's like 60, 70, get up to 80. And then summer, it's kind of like the same for the most part during the summer, right? Or does it get really hot there during the summer?
Oh, it gets hot in the summertime. You're talking like 9,500 degrees.
9,500? Yeah, that intense heat though. Yeah. Either way, Miami might be a good landing destination for some players coming up pretty soon, with the Dolphins having 2 picks in the first round and a couple more hereafter within the next few years or so. But yeah, like I said, thanks again for joining us. We're just going to get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about today, boys, is we each should have like some sort of list when it comes to the top 10 rookies coming in for the season. This is going to be strictly for fantasy impact. So, no offensive linemen or cornerbacks or anything like that, even though it has an effect on the team and the defense and stuff. We just want to kind of get an idea of which guys are going to come into the league this year and have an immediate impact. So, Jeremy, do you want to go first with your list, or?
Yeah, I can go first.
All right, go ahead, man. Go for it.
So at 101, I mean, granted, I always like the running backs first. Granted, we don't know where these guys are going yet in a couple of days, but
right.
I'm going with Najee Harris out of Alabama.
Okay. Now, that's interesting. I thought I had Najee Harris pretty high on my list, but not that high. So that's pretty good. That's pretty interesting. I like seeing him in the top 10 for sure, and even the top 5. So definitely. It really does depend on where he goes, but I mean, you're right. Rookie running backs do have a lot of the times the most impact, so makes sense.
For pick 102, got Travis Etienne.
Okay.
Running back out of Clemson.
Second running back.
Yep. We're on the same page here so far, huh? 2 for 2 like me.
Well, you're saying that your list, you have the first 2 guys, Najee Harris, followed by Etienne, 1 and 2 also?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's see where we continue on with this.
Let's see. So we'll go with a different position with 103. I got Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Ooh.
Jamar
wide
Chase
receiver
for
out of LSU.
Jamar Chase for me is number 5 on my list.
I don't know. I figured he sat out last year at LSU, but dude was putting up better numbers than Justin Jefferson did out at LSU with Joe Burrow throwing him the football.
He was.
Okay.
We all know what Justin Jefferson did last year with Minnesota.
Exactly, and how many teams passed up on Jefferson last year too, that were hitting themselves for that. But who do you think Chase? Where do you think Chase is going to end up? Do you think he's going to go to Cincinnati? You think they might take a shot on him in the first round?
I mean, at pick number 5, that's probably the first place he'd probably go. I know there's talk out of Atlanta that Julio Jones might get traded as well.
That's interesting. I have heard that rumor. That'd be pretty interesting to see what they do, but I don't know. They just reconstructed like Matt Ryan's contract and everything over there, so it looks like he's there to stay at least another year or two. But I don't know. I mean, I think they're either gonna trade down or they're gonna just snag Pitts. Like it really doesn't make any other sense what they would do at that position. I don't see them getting a quarterback. I really don't.
No.
Especially if you draft like a guy like Lance, which has the most upside. Why would you want him to sit for like 2 years on that team just doing nothing and not showing his like ability and athleticism?
Right.
But go on, Jeremy. Go on.
So pick 104, got Javonte Williams out of North Carolina.
So you're really big on running. You're really
back,
big on running backs, then, huh? For next season.
I mean, it got me to 11-1 last year. It got me to a league championship appearance.
No, I agree.
That's where the points come from.
Go ahead, Joe.
That's where all the points come from. I mean, you're not going to get them just by throwing the ball out there. You got to get them on the ground too. Yep.
What's interesting too about those 3 running backs is that from what I'm reading and what I'm into and stuff, for the most part, a lot of those guys are pass catchers too, like most of them. So they could initially come in and have really good fantasy value to the start, especially if they get drafted to a team that is going to use them right away. You know, like the Steelers, maybe
I know Buffalo's looking for a running back. They're normally ahead now with Josh Allen. So
yeah, exactly. Buffalo could use a good running back. So I mean, they could go to a team that would use them right away. So they could have an impact right away. For me, I do have ETN and Harris in my top 10, but for me, Harris is 4 and ETN is 10, and I'm kind of low on ETN right now because I kind of want to see who takes him, because I don't really even think that he's going to end up being a first round pick when it comes down to it. So like if there's going to be any running backs in the first round, because it's rare to have a running back go in the first round. You know, Clyde Edwards went to the Chiefs last year, but it's rare. And if there is going to be one, I feel like it's going to be Harris. Like Najee Harris is the best guy coming out of the draft for running backs. So if it's anybody, it's going to be him. But yeah, so all right, go on with your list. Just finish it out for us right here.
So at 105, got Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All-purpose guy, kick returner, punt returner.
That's right.
Tyreek 2.0, if you will.
He could possibly be Tyreek. I've seen his tape. He's electric. So
106 is Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida.
Okay.
Good choice.
Probably the
best tight end.
Arguably the best player in the draft this year.
Yeah, he's definitely up there for sure with his athleticism.
At pick 107, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota.
Interesting. Yeah. Rashad Bateman made your list, huh? Okay.
And then at 108, got the Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama.
Okay.
Probably the sleeper of the top 10. I'm going to go with wide receiver Elijah Moore from University of Ole Miss or Mississippi.
Right.
Good. All right.
Dude averaged 13 and 200 over the last 3 games of his season in the SEC. Put up 11 for 143 against Alabama, 10 for 227 against Florida.
Mm-hmm. It's all about landing spot too with these guys, though. They go to a good landing spot, especially like Elijah Moore. It's been rumored that Tennessee could maybe take a chance on him. Might be a good compliment to AJ Brown. So it really does. Their impact for fantasy is going to matter. Obviously, which team drafts them, but I could definitely see him having some impact, though.
And then rounding out the top 10, I have to put a quarterback, I suppose. We might as well put the best one in Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. Interesting. Right. Very interesting, because my list mainly consists of pretty much all those quarterbacks that are like top 4. Like I have Zach Wilson, I have Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and I got Trey Lance all in the top 10. So for me, it's Trevor Lawrence number 1. I just think that if anybody's going to have an immediate impact, it's definitely going to be Lawrence. He's the number 1 pick overall. He's going to get immediate reps and everything with the Jaguars. They're already surrounding him with some decent weapons, and who knows what they do in the draft. They might take another receiver or something here and there. So I think they're going to give him everything that he needs to succeed. And then I got Lawrence followed by Justin Fields. This is really going to matter where he lands for me, because I could definitely see him getting drafted to a team and having him sit for a year. But I think that next to Lawrence, I personally believe that Fields is the second best quarterback in this draft. I like his athleticism, his legs, his arm talent, and his knowledge of the game. I just like everything about Justin Fields. So, and then Kyle Pitts is number 3 for me. I mean, he's the best tight end to come in the draft since who knows who. I mean, I don't know. If you guys know, you can let me know. But I mean, there's never any hype about tight ends in the draft, let alone first round too. When was the last time a first round tight end got drafted? Does anybody know?
TJ Hawkinson 2 years ago.
Yes.
Noah Fant 2 years ago.
Okay, but later in the draft though, or like
TJ Hawkinson, I believe, was number 8. I believe.
Yes, he was.
They actually did get drafted same school. Okay, by Denver
Iowa,
and
yes.
Detroit, right? Gotcha.
Yes, both are out of Iowa.
Okay, but yeah. Pitts is
I think Penn State's got a good guy coming out of the draft at tight end, Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably more of a day 2 selection, though.
Well, yeah, for sure, later round guy.
That's true, but anything can happen with those day 2s. I mean, they can produce just as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then number 4 for me is Najee Harris. It's pretty much every point that you've made about him that you said, Jeremy. Running backs do have the better chance of making an immediate impact, but for me, Harris is number 4. Let's just hope he's not
Trent Richardson. Jesus Christ.
Let's hope not. let's hope not. I got followed by Harris. I got Jamar Chase, and then Devontae Smith. I think these are 2 of the best receivers that are coming out. So, regardless of where they go, they should have some sort of immediate impact. I don't know if it's going to be Justin Jefferson caliber, but they should have some kind of impact. And then number 7 through 10, I got Trey Lance 7, Zach Wilson 8, Jalen Waddle 9, and then followed by Travis Etienne 10. So, all right. What about you, Joe? You said that you had, for the most part, 1 and 2.
The first 2, yes. The first 2, I mean, those are givens. I mean, those are probably going to be your guys that do the production for on the ground game. I'd like to. This might be a shocker to you, but.
Is it ever a shocker coming from you? I don't think so.
Right. But I mean, I have hype on Trey Sermon, not just because I'm a Buckeye fan, but I think he was a good addition when he transferred from Oklahoma.
Mhm.
He brought a lot to their offense. I think he can bring a lot of offense to an NFL team. Not necessarily at number 3 or 4, but maybe 5 or 6 for me.
Okay. What about Justin Fields? Is he on your top 10 or no?
Yes, he would. Yes, he would have to be. The only thing I'm a little skeptical about is how he played in that championship game. I think most of our fan bases wasn't that great of a game for him, and hopefully it doesn't hurt his stock.
I don't think it will. And if it does, like I think that teams will just be kicking themselves in the butt for passing up on him because he did beat Trevor Lawrence, so that's got to count for something.
Yeah.
But are there, so for the most part, would you say that you have like Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase and those guys, Kyle Pitts on your top 10?
Yes, I would have to put Kadarius Toney in there too because I like him as a slot guy. Real fast guy out of UF. I mean, go Gators.
Yeah, I see.
Bad quarterback either. Pitts. I watched Pitts quite a bit on because he was in the SEC. I mean, playing against Georgia and all that. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I know they and Georgia don't get along very well, so.
Okay, so in terms of what was I gonna say? I was talking about Pitts, but I was gonna mention a different player.
Well, I do think Pat Fryermuth is a good option. I wouldn't sleep on him. I mean, even though he might be a second day guy, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm looking for guys to produce right away, actually. We all see Dak Prescott was a round 4 guy, and see how that's turned out so far.
Oh, I was going to talk about Kadarius Toney. Yeah, I seen some of his tape because I watched it recently.
Right.
He's pretty electric, too. Like, I'm not saying that he's gonna end up like this guy because this dude is obviously like one of the best running backs in the league, but I do see a lot of similarities to Alvin Kamara, and Kamara's a little smaller of a guy than Toney, but the way that Toney uses his legs when he catches the ball, and he actually was catching some handoffs as well too. Like they would throw it to his right or to his left, and he would just run with it. So. If a team can utilize him like that in the NFL and he is successful with that, then he's going to be a pretty interesting player to watch. So.
Sure. Now, as far as everything else goes, I made maybe a top 10 list for quarterbacks, maybe who might get drafted in that order. I hate to say I have Kellen Mond on there from Texas A&M. Probably being the 5th quarterback drafted. Not so certain about it, but he did put up a good season for Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. What about that guy?
I have Trask on the list too.
Okay, yeah. Trask is going to get drafted. Who knows what round? If it's like 4th, 5th, 6th round, but he's definitely going to get drafted by somebody. And also, what's that quarterback from Stanford?
Mills.
He'll probably get drafted too. If it might be later as well, but he's definitely going to go to somebody too.
Right.
But obviously those guys, they're probably not going to they're not going to come in and have immediate impact unless there's some kind of like injury or something where they can step in and take over right away. They'll be sitting behind somebody. Just like Jordan Love on the Packers.
Right.
Getting drafted in the 1st round.
That's where I'm going with like Sam Ellinger too out of Texas. I see him going somewhere in a backup role.
Yeah, most of those guys are gonna be doing that right away from the start. But cool.
It's gonna be like an AJ McCarron type thing, a career backup.
Yeah.
for some of these guys,
Some of those guys, including maybe even Mac Jones. I really don't know how
That
I
is
feel about
possible.
Mac
That is
Jones.
possible. I mean,
I think that I don't know, a guy like that doesn't usually go in the first round like that. I watch him on film and he's pretty accurate. Like I would say really accurate, I guess. But I just feel like if teams collapse on him, he's gonna fall under pressure. Like he has no mobility whatsoever. So I'm gonna really be intrigued to see. So who wants the third pick? One of you guys take it. 49ers, Jeremy or Joe? Because we're gonna start this mock draft
I'll
right
go
now.
for it. I will say.
Wait! Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. We're gonna start the draft right now.
Okay.
Once we start it, then you can obviously go for it. But we're gonna I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Just let me know you can see it if you can see it.
Right.
Okay, cool. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Good. Right. So okay, so we're gonna do all the teams next. All right, and then normal. We're gonna just do slow. That way they're not rushing us. All right, so we're gonna just start this mock draft now. First round of mock draft for 2021 NFL season. This is gonna be pretty fun.
All positions, correct?
I've done a couple myself, but every time I do something, it's crazy to see how you just move one player to another team and then the whole thing just shakes up. So
okay.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not a big fan of that Pro Football Focus mock drafts. I don't think it's fairly that accurate.
Yeah, there's just a ton of mock drafts out there, I mean, that's the thing right now. Like, even like the whole Mel Kiper stuff and whatnot. Like, he does 4 or 5 of them before the draft season or the draft even starts. Some of them make a little bit of sense, but then there's just some that are really out there. All right, so I'm gonna go first here. This is a no-brainer for everybody that's on the clock with this pick, including the Jaguars. So we got the number 1 pick overall here, and the Jaguars are going Trevor Lawrence. Everybody knows it, everybody expects it, and if it doesn't happen, then the whole world's gonna just fall and cave, and it's gonna be 2012 all over again. So first pick here, Jaguars go Trevor Lawrence. All right, Jeremy, you do the honors for the Jets.
I mean, I could shake everything up and, select Justin Fields or a different quarterback that's not Zach Wilson.
You can if you want to. It's your pick. I'm all for it. I'm all ears. And there's a lot of stuff out there that's saying obviously Zach Wilson is going number 2 overall to the Jets because they fell in love with him and his arm. But I wouldn't be surprised 100% of the way if they ended up just going after Justin Fields. I mean, there's some people saying that he's the better quarterback, so you never know.
I've said it on tape. I personally don't think this quarterback class will last. I mean, how you guys had Fields in your top 10. Justin Fields or any guy that's not named Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence isn't going to start for their team.
I can see a scenario.
They may not. Or at least they won't start the year.
To start the year, yeah.
You're drafting a guy 2nd overall in a rookie dynasty draft that may not even play for 6 to 8 weeks unless an injury happens. You're waiting for a team to go 1-6, 2, something like that.
I can agree with that. Unless Fields goes to the Jets at number 2, then he'll start right away, obviously, because they got rid of Darnold. They don't have a quarterback, but definitely the first 2 teams on this board are drafting a quarterback, and they're starting right away because they have no other option. San Francisco's on another boat. They still have Garoppolo, so he might start the year, and then the guy that they end up taking could overtake him mid-year or a few games in. But yeah, I do agree with you on that.
But we'll make it we'll keep it the same. We'll go chalk. We'll go Zach Wilson.
Okay, cool. Also, I did get a notification, guys, just so you're aware. We have about 8 minutes left on this one. I did already create a new one, so I'll send you that ID after this is over, and we'll join that new one to just continue this. All right. So
All right.
8 minutes. So Joe, you're on the clock now. I gotta pick Zach Wilson. You're on the clock now, Joe, with the 49ers. Which way you going?
If I'm the 49ers, I'm going to go with Mac Jones. I did read some articles somewhere that they weren't convinced with Justin Fields. I'm thinking Mac Jones might be more at their comfort level, but I'm just undecided about that. So I would definitely say Mac Jones. It's definitely a toss between him and Fields, but yeah, Mac Jones.
All right, Mac Jones to the Niners then. So I'm on the clock right now with the Falcons, and right here with the Falcons, I mean, like I was saying earlier, I don't personally believe that the Falcons are going to go quarterback here. I really don't see a scenario where they end up drafting one of these guys. You know, a guy like Trey Lance could definitely be a good pick here and sit behind Matt Ryan and learn from him. And that athleticism might be pretty hard to pass up. But if they're looking right now, and they're going to stay in this pick, in the 4th pick, I definitely have them I see them picking Pitts. Like, I really don't see any other guy that is going to make sense for them in this situation. I think overall they could end up just trading down though and having somebody else move up into that 4th spot and take maybe like a Trey Lance or something. But for now, I'll go Kyle Pitts here at number 4. So Jeremy's on the clock now with the Bengals at number 5.
So now it seems like we got our quarterbacks for a little bit. You got Joe Burrow, you got Tua, Jared Goff's at 7. So you don't really see a quarterback going now until at least 8 potentially. But at number 5 with Cincinnati, Joe Burrow needs some protection. You got Penei Sewell, you got his former teammate out there in Jamar Chase, wide receiver. But I'm going to go Chase, get him some weapons.
All right, we're going Jamar Chase here for the Cincinnati Bengals, passing up on the offensive tackle Penei Sewell here, but it makes sense. There's a lot of mocks that have Jamar Chase going there, reuniting him with Burrow, the LSU connection. That magical year that they both had together, sounds great, and it would definitely keep Burrow happy. So Jamar Chase it is. All right, so the Dolphins are now on the clock, Joe, at number 6, and this is your pick right here. Number 6, where do you think the Dolphins are going?
The Dolphins, I'm leaning towards, this is a hard one.
Yeah, this one.
I'm going to say Devontae Smith gets that pick. I just have a feeling of it, but I think they're going to go wide receiver. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So you think that's fine? So I think they're probably gonna go wide receiver to it, unless somehow Pitts falls to them. Then they can take Pitts. But the only way I see Pitts falling is if, like I said, Atlanta trades out of that spot. But yeah, Devontae Smith to me, he's ranked too low. I mean, he's the Heisman winner coming out. Everything's about his size. I really don't see that being a problem in the NFL. I think his game's going to translate, but I mean, we'll see overall. But Tua needs.
He's about the same height and build of Deshaun Jackson, though. That's probably why they see it that way. 5'10", 175.
And he had all the injury concerns with how many teams he's been on with Philadelphia and everything else. So
yes.
But overall, Tua needs some more weapons, though. So you got to give him some more weapons. See what he's all about. So, all right, Devontae Smith to the Dolphins at number 6. All right, so this is where it's going to get a little interesting too, because the Lions are sitting at 7, and there's been plenty of news coming out as of late that they're actually willing to trade that and move down. just to acquire some more draft picks because they don't.
Because it's
I don't
the
think,
Lions.
and
They
they don't.
suck.
I don't believe they have a second round pick either. So they're kind of, they're really slim in that department of picks. And Devontae Smith is gone here. I could have seen them taking Devontae Smith to basically, go with give Goff a weapon there because all the receivers are gone, pretty much. They all left in free agency. So, the best receiver on the board right here is not for a while. So they're not going to go receiver here. If they end up staying in this position, it's pretty interesting, but I feel like I'm either going to go Penny Sewell here just to kind of give Goff some protection on that offensive line, or maybe even thinking about like Jalen Waddle in this position just to give him a target. But the Lions need a ton of help too on defense. So, I mean,
right.
there's let's be honest, there's a lot of guys here that they could actually use on defense too, like Parsons, perhaps like linebacker out of Penn State. This is a really tough pick. Let's see. I see. Yeah, one of my mock drafts I had Jamar Chase going to the Lions, and I guess the other one was the same thing, Jamar Chase, but he's gone already because he went to the Bengals. So let's see. Yeah, I think taking Waddle here is a little too high. I feel like honestly, the best thing for the Lions here would just be to draft best available. And to me, that would be Penny Sewell. So I'm just going to take Penny Sewell here in this situation. So Sewell to the Lions at number 7. The Panthers are now on the clock at number 8. I believe this is Jeremy's pick, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So with Penny Sewell going off the board, you probably have your best available is gone now. Panthers making that trade for Sam Darnold with the Jets, so they can have Zach Wilson as their quarterback of the future. I don't know if they're really going to go quarterback number 1. They're gonna run with Darnold, who they picked up their 5th-year option on. I would probably say offensive tackles, or at least offensive linemen in general, which we've got a guy in Rashawn Slater from Northwestern who can play inside or outside. So I would probably go, that's probably your best available at that point. Never goes wrong with an offensive lineman, or at least a tackle, as a building block of your foundation of your team.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that pick. They definitely need to protect Sam Darnold if they're having him come in there and play quarterback for them. So Slater's a good pick here. He could even be the best offensive tackle when it comes down to it, but that's a good pick. All right, so Joe's on the clock now. All right, Joe.
So now with pick number 27 in the draft.
Oh, it's been that long. Number 9.
Well, I'm obviously going to have to share my screen again with you guys. But, yeah, so we're at number 9 now. So, number 9, Broncos are on the clock. So, Joe, you're up here. What route you going?
I'll say this is an odd one, interesting one. Trey Lance.
No, it's not odd. I definitely like that pick. I think that if the Broncos were smart and there was a quarterback available to them at 9, they have to go quarterback. I mean, I don't personally
like Drew Lock.
Might be me, but yeah, I was gonna say this might be just me, but I don't personally like Drew Lock. I don't think that he's the best option for them there. So with all those weapons that they have there, Noah Fant, those receivers, they got Cortland Sutton coming back off injury this year. They're going to be a really good offensive team, but not with Drew Lock as an under center. So, yeah, I like that pick, Joe. I do.
Okay.
I do like that pick. All right. That would put me on the clock for number 10, correct?
Yes.
got to do Joel's boys right here, the Cowboys. So we all know this, Joe. The Cowboys struggle on defense. They need a lot of help on defense.
No shit, Sherlock.
The best
Setting
cornerback is on
records in the best way possible.
the best cornerback is on the board right here, Patrick Surtain from Alabama, and ton of mock drafts, ton of people have them taking him in the first round. More than likely, he's going to be available at 10.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
He's probably going to be the first defensive guy off the board. So,
correct.
You know, this doesn't really require a whole lot of thinking here for me. So, you know, Patrick Surtain is to the Cowboys at number 10. So now we have the Eagles on the clock, and that will be Jeremy's pick.
At 11?
I'm sorry, the Giants. You're right, Joe.
All right, it's okay. It's okay.
We're at 11. Pick 11 to the Giants. I skipped a team already. That's how much I don't like New York.
Well, let's see.
This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one.
I really think they're going to run with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones probably has about 6 games before New York's just going to say, you're either our starter and we're going to roll with you, or they're just going to phone it in for next year, for 2022.
I couldn't agree more with you. I don't think that they're gonna draft a quarterback here, even if like Trey Lance is on the board. But even if he falls to them there, they ain't taking a quarterback. They want to. Yeah. If they were smart, they would just try to surround him with weapons and like offensive line. That
because I mean, at this point, is it Fields or is it Lance who went 9?
I had Lance going to the. I had Lance going to the Broncos at 9.
Oops, okay. I put Fields. Whoops, that was my mistake right there.
No worries.
Don't think I can go back, but
if it's I mean, I personally don't see now. I mean, it's how this is set up. It's almost crazy how fucking Belichick's going to get another quarterback without even having to trade up, because at this point, I don't believe 12, 13, or 14 is going to pick a quarterback. I'm not picking a quarterback here. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle from Alabama to get something that they haven't had since OBJ, as a
interesting
guy that can take it to the house at any play.
He's electric. He really is electric. I've seen his tape. He has that Tyreek Hill speed in open field, and you know, he's not. I guess he's fairly the same size as Tyreek Hill too. So he should be a pretty good player. And the Giants need a playmaker. I mean, let's be honest. They got Galladay, but he's not going to be that electric, explosive player for him. And a guy like Waddle could be a good complement to him. So good pick. All right, I think Joe is now on the clock with the Eagles pick. Keep in mind, it was my fault. I messed up. Fields is still on the board here, and that was supposed to be Lance in his place. So just keep that in mind. But go ahead, Joe.
All right, 12. I'm thinking for the Eagles, maybe defensively they would bolster up and go with the linebacker out of Penn State, Micah Parsons.
Okay, this is an interesting pick because they need cornerback help, and there's a decent cornerback on the
they do. J.C. Horn,
on the board still.
I'm thinking Parsons might be somewhat better for them.
I mean, dude's like Isaiah Simmons, he went to Arizona last year. Dude's running like a 4.4 as a linebacker. He might as well be a defensive back.
He's a highly rated player, and he's going under the radar because of his off-field stuff right now. So he might fall in the draft. So I mean, the Eagles aren't going quarterback. I'd be surprised if they go receiver, because unless Waddle's there at 12, I'd be surprised if they go receiver. But that's an interesting pick, though. Parsons to the Eagles. That's very interesting. So now the Chargers are on the clock, number 13, and I am going to make that pick for them. So there's a guy on this list here that I'm looking at that I probably am going to go after. The Chargers need offensive line help, and this guy Christian Darrisaw of Virginia Tech is still on the board. So I really don't see how they don't go after an offensive tackle, even if like it ends up being a guy like Darrisaw or maybe even like a Jenkins, because they need a lot of help on the offensive line. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick that guy right now. So Darrisaw to the Chargers. So we have pick 14 now with the Vikings, and that will go to Jeremy.
So I'm going to take a guy that I really thought was going to go at number 12 to kind of keep it more into the linebacker, but I'm going to go for an edge rusher this time. With guys in the NFC North, you've got your Jared Goffs, your Aaron Rodgers, Andy Daltons of the world that you need to go after and sack. And I'm going to go with Quiddy Pye out of Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
Okay. Hey, he's ranked really low too on here, but
yes.
I think that he's supposedly next to Phillips. He's probably like the top edge rusher that's out there.
Yeah, it's
if not maybe
real
the best.
Good draft for edge. It's very top heavy, and after that, it falls off a cliff. But
Exactly. All right, I think Joe's on the clock for New England here, and remember what I did messing up at 9. So instead of Trey Lance, Fields is on the board. Or is that where you're gonna end up going here? Is Fields to New England?
No, not quite. I'm thinking they're gonna go. This is a definite hard one.
You don't see Belichick drafting a quarterback in the first round? Even if one falls to him at 15, sitting there, like not even moving up.
I do. I don't know if he's going to pull the trigger right now on that. That's where I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place on that one.
Wouldn't it be crazy if this scenario actually happens where like Fields or Lance are sitting there for Belichick and he decides to trade back?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Justin Fields, though. Yes, you're probably right, because knowing him, he seems like he's going to be predictable in that sense. Which quarterback it'll be, I don't know, but I'm going to go with Fields since he's on the board at that position.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, wouldn't it be crazy if like one of those guys were there and he decided to trade back and acquire more picks just to move back and not get a quarterback, but have an extra like first round pick or second round pick?
Right.
Definitely see Belichick doing something like that too. Obviously, that was supposed to be Fields there, not Lance, but
Right. It would be crazy enough for that to work, though. Yes.
All right. So we got next team on the board here is the Arizona Cardinals at 16. So the Cardinals here in this position, I think that they probably were looking for a good receiver to take here to complement Hopkins. Obviously, that didn't happen because all those receivers are gone. Waddle went to the Giants. So the Cardinals need a cornerback. They're in desperate need of cornerback. So Horn is still on the board here, which is, I guess, pretty rare in my opinion at pick 16.
I think he'd fall there, yes. If it's a toss up for Jerry picking him or Patrick Surtain, So
I'd say that Farley might even be in a consideration, but a lot of teams are probably gonna stay away from him because of that surgery he had, even though it was like a minor surgery. But if Horn is here now, it's definitely Horn over Farley. So
absolutely, I jump on it.
So Horn to the Cardinals at 16. So the Raiders are now on the clock, number 17, and I believe this should be Jeremy's pick.
Yep. For the Raiders, John Gruden, he loves quarterbacks. Will he take one? Probably not. He's got Derek Carr.
Well, there ain't going to be no quarterbacks available to him at 17, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? He could hop up, take, Davis Mills. He could take Kellen Mond. He can take Kyle Trask. Who knows? Maybe Kyle Trask made Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney look good. Who knows? Who knows what he sees on those coaches' films, and maybe he's still doing stuff for ESPN. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows is right, but I mean, Derek Carr is not the worst of the worst that's out there, in my opinion.
But I don't know. It seems like in years past they've been taking guys that come from winning schools. They're taking guys from Alabama, Clemson. Notre Dame is another school that's been fairly decent in the last few years. Granted, they can't get over the hump, but I'm going to take a Notre Dame. I'm going to take JOK.
Wosu Karamoa.
Okay.
Yes.
Linebacker out of Notre Dame.
Give him a linebacker. I know they've got Nick Kwiatkowski, but he couldn't stay healthy, the former Bear. But
yes,
Savon Collins was an option for them there too. But like you were saying, do you think they like taking guys out of big schools? That would make a lot of sense for them at that position then.
Right.
All right. Dolphins are on the clock for their second pick in the first round. Where do you got them going, Joe?
Oh boy,
they took.
I think this is where they
take Devontae Smith right off the board the last time.
Yes, I think this is where you pull the trigger on your first running back to go, Najee Harris.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll get all the way down to Pittsburgh or not, but Pittsburgh definitely can use a running back, but I don't think he's going to fall that far.
Yeah,
someone's going to pull the trigger early, and it's going to be the Dolphins with their second pick.
Yeah, if Pittsburgh sees Najee Harris on the board at 24, they better pull the trigger on that. Like, just to see how bad their running game was last year with Connor and Connor's injuries and stuff, and them they would just take so much pressure off of Ben Roethlisberger to get a good running game going. So it's a definite, it could happen. Najee Harris to the Dolphins could happen. I think that overall it's probably the Dolphins or Steelers taking Harris in the first round. I don't really see any other team that would go after him unless he falls to the Bills. If he falls to the Bills at pick 30, that's an amazing value right there.
It is.
All right, I think I'm on the clock now with 19, right, for Washington?
Yes.
Washington could use a quarterback, but all the quarterbacks are pretty much off the board. So you don't really want to go quarterback now unless you take another guy later on in the second round or third round or beyond. Let's see. Washington looks like they need some offensive line help, linebacker, maybe a safety. Tevin Jenkins is here, but let's see. Edge, Jalen Phillips. Or I think this one for me would be between Phillips and Collins, I'd say. I think Phillips might have more upside, especially coming from a bigger school in Miami. They definitely could use some help on the edge too, I think. So I'll take my chances here. I'll just go with Jalen Phillips to Washington.
Okay.
So that leaves Jeremy, right, with the Bears pick here.
Bear down.
Hey, where do you have? Are you a Bears fan, by the way, or?
Yeah, man.
Unfortunately,
you have to be a Bears fan. You can take it out of Chicago, but you can't take the Chicago out of the kid.
Exactly. So where are you going with our Bears?
I never had it in me.
Where are you going with our Bears here? We need a ton of help on defense, and we need a ton of help on offense, and we need a quarterback, and we need a receiver, and
you need a corner, you need all this stuff, right? So
exactly.
Well, you drafted a corner last year. I don't think they're going to do that with, they drafted Jalen Johnson in the second round last year. So I don't think you go corner as much as I think J.C. Horn is still available, or
Horn's still gone,
or fairly still there. And again, the back concerns.
The backs, but they also drafted Jalen Johnson last year. Was coming off surgery too, so
3 of them. He had 3 of them previously.
He did pretty good his rookie season too. Not bad.
He did.
But yeah, they got rid of Fuller, and cornerback help is definitely needed. But I mean, this is your pick ultimately, but I kind of wanted to weigh in on it a little bit. What do you think about Greg Newsome from Northwestern?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of the corner as much as Andy Dalton. He's basically a sitting duck at this point of his career. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Nick Foles, if they're just going to let him, sit on the roster, because it sounds like they're going to draft a quarterback either day 2 or day 3. So as our fan base, we're going to, want that rookie in there if Dalton struggles and we're, 1-2, 2-4 or something like that. We're going to want to see that rookie come in. So you're going to need to get him some help, whether that means it's a wide receiver, like a Rashad Bateman, a Kadarius Toney, someone like that.
I could see those guys, maybe Bateman not falling, but I could easily see Toney falling to the second round where they can take a swing on him in the second round. So,
but my best thought is to go best available on the offensive line. You got to keep that quarterback upright. It seemed like they meshed as a unit towards the end of the year, where once Bobby Massey and his broken body got out of the lineup, and but they still need a right tackle, whether it can be a right tackle or a right guard. I like the man Tevin Jenkins. If you see that man block, he finishes his blocks. I'm gonna go Tevin Jenkins.
Okay, makes sense. I would say that offensive tackle, and you could make a case for us offensive tackle being their biggest need. Some people would say cornerback because Fuller's gone, but you got to protect the quarterback. And like you said, Dalton is not exactly, in his prime anymore, where even he wasn't even really that mobile to begin with. So you can't protect your.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're playing. You got to play to win. You can't draft somebody that's not going to play right away. Tevin Jenkins or
these guys. Yeah, a lot of these
USC. They're probably. I'm actually shocked that he's still on the board too. But
a lot of these
guys, they're going to play day 1.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say, like, to add on to that. Yeah, not a lot, but like what I say for like these top 4 tackles, I would say like Penny, Sewell, Slater, Darisaw, and Jenkins. Like, these guys are probably going to be they're going to be first round guys, and they're going to be immediate starters right away. So anytime you can get an immediate starter into your team right away like that, he's going to have an impact and an effect on the team. So I like that pick. I do. I really do like that. If they can end up getting Jenkins at that pick, or even like Darisaw, then I wouldn't be opposed to that. So, Joe, pick 21 for the Colts. What do you got?
I see them going wide receiver. They're going to need some offensive help. Either Bateman or Moore from Ole Miss. In that case, I would think they would go Bateman with best available.
Bateman would be the best available receiver on the board here.
Yes.
This is
I would
interesting.
think they go Bateman, yes.
They do need cornerback help too, and Farley's here. But like I said, a lot of teams might be steering clear a little bit from that, surgery. So, and if Jenkins was on the board here, the Colts could actually
would probably jump
on that too. So this shakes it up a little bit. Bateman going to the Colts at 21. I think that Tennessee kind of had their eye on him there too. But in any case, go to the Colts at 21 from Joe. All right, I am on the clock now with Tennessee at 22. And, Tennessee needs a receiver too. I can make a strong case for that. They lost Jonnu Smith. They lost Corey Davis, both to free agency. So they did sign Josh Reynolds from the Rams, but I don't know how, what Reynolds is going to do for them or if he's going to be much of a threat for anybody. So they could definitely use a wide receiver here. Best wide receiver available would be Elijah Moore. I do believe that he would be a good fit for them. I feel like Elijah Moore would offer speed and versatility that could complement AJ Brown. So with that being said, I am going to go Elijah Moore here with this pick. So Elijah Moore to the Titans, number 22. All right, so now we have the Jets with their second first-round pick, number 23, and that's going to be Jeremy here picking with that. So where do you think they're going to go here with this pick?
Well, you have the pick that this is for Jamal Adams, I believe. This is one of 2 first-round picks that they got for Jamal Adams now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could use an edge. I don't really know what's left there. You've got Phillips, I believe, is still out there for Miami.
Yes.
No, I took Phillips. Phillips is gone already. He went.
Jalen Phillips is gone.
He went to Washington.
Okay.
So this is your edge right here that I pulled up for you. These are the best available edges.
Ojulari, I'm not real sold on that. For him at 23. I know if he's there potentially, well, granted we're only doing a first round, but I believe they have the 34th pick, so it might be something there if he falls down there.
Yeah, and this is best available right here that you're looking at now.
But I'm gonna go with what they did last year with the first round as well, by taking a tackle, but Oliveira Tucker out of USC to go more interior, to go with I can't think of the name for the big dude, Mekhi Becton from Louisville, so to go with him and make a formidable tandem there on that left side.
You're going with the USC guy right here?
Yeah.
Oliveira Tucker? Okay. Cool. Yeah, that would set them up really nice for a nice running back in the second round, like a Travis Etienne or Javonte Williams. But in any case, Joe, I believe your pick is up next for the Steelers at 24.
24. Boy, oh boy, they need help.
Yeah.
Need some help here.
Yeah, they need some help with obviously running back, probably offensive line, I would say. You'd think that you would have to protect Roethlisberger.
Yes, I believe you would.
Defense is pretty decent. They just had injuries last year.
Yes. This is an interesting one.
Make an argument that they could go cornerback, especially with Farley here on the board still.
Yeah, I think they can get a steal out of him and make something out of him with those defensive backs they have. Sure. I think they'll jump on Farley.
Yeah, I would say if they went cornerback, it'd be between him and Newsome. So with Farley being ranked a little higher, they're calling it minor back surgery. So, I mean, they're saying that he should be ready for the start of the season. And if he falls to the Steelers at this pick and Harris is gone already, it makes some sense.
Right.
So Caleb Farley to the Steelers at 24. All right. I am on the clock now with the Jaguars pick 25. And they took Trevor Lawrence with the number 1 pick in this draft, which everybody knows is more than likely going to happen. They probably need a wide receiver, but they could probably wait until the second round. I think they have 2 more picks in the second round. So they don't need to necessarily go wide receiver right here, right now. They do need offensive line help, but a lot of the offensive linemen that are, ranked really high are pretty much off the board already.
Right.
So I think that with this pick here, let's see, close it out. Go back to best available. I think here I'm leaning more towards Trevon from TCU, the safety out of TCU. They do need help with the safety position too, and this is the best available safety that's out there. So if they can end up getting him right here with this pick and then come back in the second round, maybe draft your receiver or running back, then I think they could be setting themselves up pretty good there. So I'll take him, Trevon out of TCU. So now we're at pick number 26 for the Browns, and that will go to Jeremy here. So where do you see the Browns going here with this pick?
I think the Browns need some defense. They need to, their offense is fairly prolific. You got Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield.
I don't see them going.
Landry, Austin Hooper at tight end.
You got Beckham coming back. Yeah.
I mean, Baker Mayfield, they just picked up his 5th-year option, so he's not going anywhere for 2 more years. So
they're definitely not going offense here for sure. I agree. So
I think you got to go defense. So I'm looking at either linebacker or corner. As they just, edge. Now they've got Myles Garrett, and then just picked up Jadeveon Clowney on that 1-year deal. Jury's still out on that if that's a good move or not, but I believe the linebacker from Tulsa is there.
Yes, he is.
Well. Zaven Collins, as well as Greg Newsome from Northwestern.
Zaven Collins and Greg Newsome. Yep, they're both there.
I'm going to go with the corner Newsome from Northwestern to slow down. I have a feeling Baltimore is going to make a move at receiver. You got to slow them down. Pittsburgh's got some wide receivers still with Claypool, and Juju came back on a cheap deal. So they gotta slow these guys down. And Jamar Chase, they drafted Jamar Chase with my 5th selection as well. So you got to shut these guys down. Yeah,
that's a good pick there. That's a good pick for the Browns to get a guy like that later in the first round. All right, Joe's on the clock. We got about 10 minutes here, boys, to finish this up. So we'll go a little faster with these last few picks. So pick 27 is Baltimore. They have 2 first-round picks. It's interesting now. I just want to say briefly because I felt like they would go receiver in the first round. With them having 2 picks in the first round now, might get more likely to happen. But where do you think they're gonna go here, Joe, with 27?
With 27, I'm thinking they might go D-line. My best bet, Christian Barmore out of Alabama.
Christian Barmore. Let's see. Is he way down here?
He should be up towards the top.
Is he? Oh, he's right here. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Christian Barmore here. Awesome. Alabama guy. He's going to come in and have a good impact. All right. I'm on the board here with the Saints pick at number 28. So the Saints, what are they in need of? Probably maybe like a receiver, a cornerback, maybe a linebacker, edge. I'd say, let's see. Well, the last good one came off the board with Newsome. So the best linebacker out there available is Davis from Kentucky. So, or actually, I'm sorry, that would be Zaven Collins. So Collins being ranked 19 overall to get him at 28. I think that this could be a pretty good value pick here out of Tulsa. So they do need linebacker help, so we'll go linebacker here. Although I don't know, this might be the least likely to happen for the Saints, but nevertheless, we'll go Collins here. All right, Green Bay at 29, Jeremy.
Well, this ain't gonna happen because why would we help Aaron Rodgers? But we're gonna go with Elijah Moore from Mississippi.
He was picked.
He's picked already. He's off the board.
Well,
I took him to the Titans with the 22nd pick.
With 22, okay. What do we got?
That would have been there. It's never going to happen, regardless. Though, like the Packers don't pick receivers in the first round, but that would have been a good pick for them if they do end up doing that. Highly doubt it's going to happen though.
So we got Jamin Davis as a linebacker because you just went Zaven Collins. Alex Leatherwood.
The Packers defense needs help though. I mean, right? Don't you think? Like their defense is not really that great.
Let me see here. You know what? I'm gonna go Jamin Davis from Kentucky.
I think it's a good value pick there at 29. All right, Joe, the Buffalo Bills are on the clock at 30. Where do you think they're going here? Where do you think they would go if this was the scenario?
At 30, this. Wow, I'm leaning defense with them. I think they would help with a corner in Asante Samuel Jr. Just out of just out of spite that his old man was a great corner, and I think they need one themselves. So I'm going to go with Asante Samuel.
Okay, Asante Samuel out of Florida State.
Yes.
I could make a case here that because Harris is off the board, and I said that if he fell to the Bills that they would have to pull a trigger, but I could make a strong case here that the Bills could be looking for like ETN here because their run game was poor. Let's be honest, like Josh Allen was the leading rusher on that team, and that can't happen very much longer if they want to succeed any further. So you could give a strong case for them taking like ETN right there, especially if they don't have any more draft picks for a while. Most of those running backs are going to be off the board already by then.
Yes.
All right. So Samuel to the Bills. Now I'm on the clock here with Baltimore's second pick. And with their first pick, I think Joe had that, right? You picked Christian Barmore out of Alabama.
Yes.
So with this pick here, I do believe, like I said, like I was saying a little earlier, I just believe that they had their eye on a receiver the whole time. And with them being able to get another pick, an extra pick in the first round from giving up that offensive tackle to the Chiefs, I think that they're instantly going to be looking for a receiver now in the first round, whether it's with that 27th pick or with that 31st pick. But a guy that really fits for me here is Terrence Marshall. He's a big length guy out of LSU. He opted out the second half of the season this past year, but he showed a lot without Jamar Chase there, without that guy there. He showed that he could do a lot for that team, and they have Hollywood Brown, who is more of like a slot receiver, so they can have this Terrence Marshall on the outside and give Lamar Jackson a bigger weapon to throw to besides Mark Andrews. So I would lean towards Marshall here with this pick.
All right,
Jeremy, close us out. Jeremy, got about 3 minutes to close out here, so if you want, give a little brief analysis on this final pick here. But the Bucs are here at 32. I mean, obviously they don't need much help because they're Super Bowl champs, but where do you see them going here?
I mean, they're bringing all 22 starters back, offense and defense. So if you're looking at a depth piece, why not go running back by committee? Best running back available, Travis Etienne. Put him in a good spot. Good offensive line, good coach, best quarterback of all time. Put him in the right spot.
That would be super interesting for fantasy football. I'll just say that, like, right now, if they end up taking ETN right there, that would be, I think that the fantasy football world would go bonkers for that. Because imagine that, like, ETN on Bucks with Tom Brady, the way that Tom Brady likes dishing the ball off to his running back. The only problem is that they just did sign like Bernard. So how you think of Bernard's going to have any sort of impact with them, like coming straight from the Bengals as a pass catcher? Who knows? I mean, why else would they sign him though? They have a lot of running backs too, so I don't know.
They run a running back by committee. I mean, look what they did with New England. I mean, they had Burkhead, James White. I'm probably missing a whole bunch of guys now, but from what they have, it seemed like they would run 3, 4 running backs a game. Sony Michel was their goal line guy. So, I mean, Fournette might turn into the goal line guy while Bernard and ETN get him down the field.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I think they only signed Fournette for a year. Did they only sign Bernard for a year? I'm not sure. But,
I think so.
Well, they only have a couple of those guys for a year. You get a running back in there with a rookie contract that's as electric as ETN. You could have him in there for a few years and use him up until he becomes Todd Gurley 2.0. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, that concludes this podcast for today. And that was awesome work right there with the first round of our mock draft. For the most part, I hope a lot of this stuff does happen. And thanks for joining me. Joe, as always, thanks for being on this podcast with me, buddy. You and me. And Jeremy, thanks for coming on again for the second time. And we hope to see you again soon. So thanks, boys. Have a good rest of your night.